Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Whitetail Rendezvous is pleased to announce a partnership with GoHunt.com. Who's GoHunt.com? Well, if you're a DIY hunter, you need the information at GoHunt.com/insider. Why? Because it provides 4,200 profiles, every unit, every species, and every season. Furthermore, they give in-depth analysis, interactive maps, unit access, and seasonal trends. Draw odds are very important, and they give you the most accurate information in the business. All this is available when you go to GoHunt.com/insider. Make sure you use promo code WR when you join Insider. You'll get a $50 gift card for GoHunt.com Gear Shop. Remember, when you become a member of GoHunt.com/insider, you're going to get a $50 gift card to Go Hunt Gear Shop. What's in the gear shop? The best gear that you can buy for hunting the West. This gear's been field tested by some of the best, and they know what it can do, what it can't do. You're going to get reviews, and you're going to have a selection that is bar none right at the top of the list. Having said that, once you get your gift card, all you have to do is go to GoHunt.com and go to the first page and click on shop and go have some fun. All in all, if you're hunting out West in 2018, GoHunt.com Insider is where you need to be to get all the research information. When you use promo code WR, Whitetail Rendezvous receives a small commission from GoHunt.com. Hi, folks. This is Bruce Hutchin, your host and executive producer of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're heading down to Tennessee. We're going to connect with Stacie Walker. Stacie is the CEO of PRYM1 Camo. Stacie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be on it.
Well, I'm excited when we connected. It was on social media someplace, LinkedIn or whatever.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think we connected on LinkedIn. And Stacie's got a great story, and you're going to hear a bit of that today, about why she started PRYM1 and where she's taken this brand. And, from everything I've seen, it's very interesting. It's very different. And I think, she's going to do very well with it. So, Stacie, why don't you just tell us in your own words why you started PRYM1 Camo?
Well, me being a hunter and also a wildlife artist and seeing the struggle of going out to different terrains and different areas of the country trying to hunt, various species, you don't always blend in. And so I really thought, okay, there's got to be a solution to this problem. And I grasped from my knowledge of being a wildlife artist that, why does a predator in the wild blend into its surroundings so well? You take any predator and they just are masters of camouflage. And I thought there's got to be something to that. And through, I'm a very detailed wildlife artist. I like to put all the details in. And I noticed that it's all got to do with how the spots and the pattern and the details of the pattern are broken up using natural highlights and shadows and tones that are found in nature. And so I kind of did this kind of hybrid version. You'll look at the pattern and you'll see aspects of leopard spots and feathers and cracked earth and different elements that you find in the earth that help it to break up. And one key thing that I've noticed as an artist and a hunter is that a lot of the camo on the market really shy away from whites and light areas. And I always use the example of if you're sitting in a tree stand and you're looking up through the tree canopy, you notice that the light fragments through the leaves and through the branches, and it creates a stippling effect. And this is what breaks up an outline. And so I tried to achieve a level of depth and this broken up stippling effect by having a balance of lights and darks. But I didn't just do it all in one size element. I wanted to have various size elements. That way, if I'm up close to you, I'm still breaking up. Yet if I back up, I've got larger elements that are creating a breakup as well of the outline. And so that was kind of the whole, and it's one thing to design something and be an artist and know in your head that it's supposed to work. But then to find out that it actually does work is completely different, and it's a gratifying feeling.
So how long have you been in business?
We are turning 2 years old this week. I first debuted PRYM1 Camo at ATA show 2 years ago.
Good for
So
you.
we're very new.
And you're still painting. The lights are on. I can see the lights are on in the house. So.
Yeah, I've got a painting that I just started in the background. It's a lab sitting in a duck blind, and it's like what I would consider Crayola kindergarten school painting stage right now, because I probably have about 2 hours into it. I've got a lot of detail that I like to put into my work. I'm kind of just OCD about that kind of thing. I want every hair. I was a medical illustrator for 15 years, going into surgery drawing, and so I'm real finicky on having all the details in the anatomy correct and stuff like that.
So you're a CEO and you're also a accomplished wildlife painter. Where do you find the time to do all this?
I don't go to sleep. I stay up and I work every day. That's one thing. When you own a business and you're trying to get something going, you have to be 100% committed, and it means that you are where the buck stops and starts. You have to be the one driving it. You have to have the passion and the go to do it. And it's hard work, but it's probably the most gratifying feeling I've ever had, because being both a wildlife artist and a hunter, to marry the two together and be able to call it a job is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. One thing I noticed doing my homework before the show is that you really support kids fantastically with PRYM1. Where's that come from?
I have two sons. One is 20 years old in college, and the other one is 17. And we're a very outdoors family. I've grown up that way. I'm from South Louisiana. I grew up duck hunting and deer hunting with my dad, and in the summertime we would saltwater fish. And so, it was something that when my kids got into the whole high school fishing scene and the hunting, I really wanted to encourage them. And now that my boys, I've got one that's fishing for Bethel University fishing team, which is top ranked in the country. And then I've got my youngest one that's fishing high school circuit. And so, to get involved on a high school level and promote the high school students, and I could have gone to the corporate direction, and I decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go. I wanted to go grassroots. I wanted to actually interact with the kids, interact with the teams. And so we've got all of Florida, we've got Texas, we have Kentucky, Oklahoma, Ohio, Arkansas. I'm forgetting one. Part of Tennessee, part of Louisiana, that the high school fishing organizations are on board with us as our program progresses, to where we support them, give them, help with scholarship, prizes, various contests that we do, just to stay interacting with the kids. And basically, you're going to see this fishing season, PRYM1 fishing jerseys running around all over the place.
Let's talk about.
And then we
camouflage.
also sponsor Bethel.
Okay, let's talk about camouflage fishing. And I'm not going to say anything. I've got some experience with fishing, with fly fishing extensively. So from your point of view, why is it important to have some camo on, or have your shirts at least camouflaged?
Well, I've got, like I said, it's a family affair around here. That taking tournament angling seriously is an understatement. And living on Pickwick Lake, and me being from South Louisiana, you get into areas where you've got a bright, sunshiny day and you're bed fishing, and those fish can see you from way far off. If you have something, when a fish is looking up, if you think about it, they're seeing fragmented images. And so if you can fragment your image, like the ripples in the water fragment the light. I don't know if you've ever gone underwater in a pool and looked up. When you look up, everything is fragmented. That's the effect you're trying to create with camouflage when you put it on fishing apparel, is you're trying to fragment your outline so that that fish looking in at you up through the water sees a broken up outline. Whereas if you're just in a solid form, it makes it a lot easier to see you as what you are. And so That's why scuba divers have gotten into wearing wetsuits that are in camouflage. You see all the blue tones, and they try to mimic the lines and the breakup that waves create. So, anything that will break your outline up I have on blackout on a cloudy day. You can wear this not only in a ground blind hunting, but I could wear this fishing, and that the fragmented appearance of a garment is going to help you to get in closer to those bedding fish. Or if you're bone fishing down in South Florida and, snook, you can see the water clear as day. It just helps. Red fishing, I'm a huge saltwater fisherman from back in my day of living in Louisiana. And, the more that you could sneak up on them floundering, the better you had a chance of catching them.
Yeah, I remember when I was fishing a lot that we have to get out of the water and just kneel down, and we had to hide, basically. That's how because the water was so clear that the fish knew you were there, and you just had to figure out how not to do it, because if you stood up, it's all over. It was over.
Exactly. And we've got a huge presence in Europe, and they're big into carp fishing over there, and they fish from the banks. And so it even translates well. They have taken, camouflaging to a new level, even more so in fishing in Europe than in hunting, because they understand that those fish see them on the bank, and it helps them be able to be more effective fishermen. So it's a worldwide thing, for sure.
Yeah. So, folks, we're not talking about whitetails right now. We will, but it's the whole package that Stacie's pulling together. So in all aspects of what you're doing, whether you're waterfowl hunting or you're fly fishing, spinner fishing, doesn't matter. If you're fishing, some of the salt flats or pulling, and all of a sudden the fish can see you. Those permits can see you. Bonefish can see you. Tarpon can see you. On and on and on. They know you're there unless you kind of, as Stacie said, break up your image. And what does that look like? It looks like camouflage that PRYM1 has developed.
That's exactly right. We want to be a brand that is a lifestyle brand. Camouflage has become a part of everybody's lifestyle. It's not just, found for hunting. I mean, it's on every aspect. And I wanted to have, especially me being a woman, supposedly everybody claims I'm the only woman in the world that has a camouflage pattern that's being marketed to the masses. And I said, whatever here or there, but I wanted it to be an attractive looking pattern. I wanted it to be where you looked at it and said, wow, that's really cool. What is that? And whether you're a hunter or a fisherman or just hiking in the woods, or you just like, I even have it being presented in the furniture industry, and it's being spun off as a hybrid animal print. I am totally great with that, because the reality of the fact is, who were the inventors of camouflage besides God himself? Was the animals are the ones that started camouflage. And so that's where we got all of this from. And so for me to be able to take a design of my pattern, PRYM1, and be able to apply it in any direction is really where I get satisfaction, because I know that it's applicable in so many various areas.
So let's share your website URL with the folks out there. We'll do this a couple of times, but at least tell people where they can see your whole product line.
Well, actually, that's the misconception a lot of people have. I have some product that I carry on our web store, crosspowerstore.com. But actually, I don't manufacture the apparel. I have licensees that I purchase some of our products from, so that I can then in turn offer it to pro staff, my TV show guys, pro fishing guys. So we don't actually manufacture. I have a very, rigid opinion about not wanting to compete with the people I license my pattern to. I'm very big on partnering with people, partnering with companies, wanting to help them succeed, because if they succeed, I succeed. So if I'm licensed with Burris Optics and they're putting out a new scope, or World Famous Sports who's got the clothing line, I'm not going to go out and try to compete with them. So I'm very active in trying to do that. So if you want to look at the clothing that we have that we offer through our licensees, you go to crosspowerstore.com. Otherwise, we'll have a lot of product hitting the market this year. Really, it takes a good year. I don't think a lot of people realize that. It takes a good year to a year and a half for product to hit the market from conception to reality. And so we'll have Mojo Sportswear that'll be releasing fishing apparel in fact, it's coming in February. So next month, we have Frog Togs that just released their Pilot Series rain suit, the Pilot 2 series that'll be coming out. A lot of these you can go get, pre-order on their website, and it'll be hitting the retail stores. But a lot of stuff coming, a lot of really exciting stuff coming.
The reason I mentioned that, because you had shared with me PRYM1Camo.com, where I saw a lot of your patterns. And
yes, that's our main website, and they do have a click-through button where you can then get to the store site. But yeah, if you want to see all of the full range of colors and variations in our color patterns and details and our pros and who we're partnered with, PRYM1Camo.com is definitely where you want to go.
And thanks for that. And there was one picture of a guy who was fly fishing, and he had your puffer jacket on.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's some of my pro staff over in the UK. I've got the director, Dan Beardsmore, of my website and my marketing, lives in the UK, and just got a phenomenal eye for the camera and for video, and just gotten some outstanding footage and images from over there. And it's really fun to be so involved on the global, market, because when we're not hunting and we're all bored because it's not hunting season and we're trying to catch fish, they're actually in the middle of their hunting season. And so it kind of gives a good trade-off that we've always got something exciting to look at on our website, because he keeps it fresh and rotating. He keeps everything updated. And he's actually in the middle of building and adding to it, because we're growing so fast. He's having to really double step it on, adding in our tactical page, adding in our pros page, all that kind of stuff. Because we actually have, really, really grown in 2 years. We've got 9 TV shows. We've got 4 BASS Elite Pros. 3 BASS Elite Pros, 4 FLW Pros. We've got a couple of Costa guys. We've got a lot going on.
Well, that's great. And when you say you have them now, are you supporting them, or are they part of your business?
They are. We're actually. They are wearing our camouflage. We will have 9 fully rigged Rangers, Skeeters, various bass boats and trucks that will be wrapped in our camouflage. I can't give a bunch of names because we haven't released the information yet on several of them, but we've got some really good guys on board, and they're going to be wearing their jerseys through all the tournaments, the whole 9 yards, and they are officially PRYM1 Camo team members. And same thing with our TV shows. We just picked up American Archer with Tom Nelson and Outdoor America with Joe Thomas. We've got several others, but between the fishing and hunting shows and the pros, we're putting a lot of emphasis in marketing, a lot of emphasis.
And that'll drive product sales, obviously.
And it's going to drive the brand awareness, and hopefully that'll promote more product hitting the market, which is my goal.
So let's take a breath here, and there's thousands of people listen to the show. So, some of them out there saying, boy, I'd like to get into business. Boy, I'd like to, create something. What are your 5 things that you better be ready to do, or don't even start the process?
You better love. And when I say love, I mean unconditionally love your idea and what you're going to do with it. And you better be prepared to work more than you ever thought you worked. You have to eat, sleep, breathe it, live it. And you have to be, if you don't have the passion to push what you're trying to promote, it will never succeed. You have to show people the passion you have behind what you're doing for them to buy into it. And it's going to take a lot of work. And is it all peaches and cream, perfect days. No, it is a extremely tough industry to get. I don't care what you're going into business doing. I've come from a long family line of father and grandfather, then husband that owns, multiple businesses. And you have to be 100% committed. You have to work at it like it's that your life depends on it, because you are the bottom line. It doesn't succeed unless you drive it. You have to drive it to success. And it's one of those things that, do your homework. What's the market out there look like for what you're trying to do? Right now, I would say that the hunting industry in the last 3 years has completely and utterly changed. And I would say not just hunting, but retail in general. It is a completely different animal. It is very tight, very hard. What used to be the norm and the way things went 10 years ago is not the case now. So you have to be thinking out of the box. You have to be flexible to shift and move, which is the good thing about me being in, multiple directions with the camouflage pattern, because the hunting industry right now, retail wise, is just in horrible shape. And so to combat that, you have to be flexible and be willing to just tough it out. And you better financially be, before you start a business and decide I want to go into business for myself, you better financially be ready to do it, because it will take it from you. It is not an easy road, but it is a very gratifying road.
Yeah, it is. And I think, it'll be 3 years in March that we launched Whitetail Rendezvous. And no, there's not a lot of cash outlay, but it's just the grind. It's just, you have to stay after it. And
you do.
That would be my 2 cents. If you start, okay, there's going to be, days that you say, why am I doing this? And days you're going to get run over, and just, it gets ugly. But if you stay after it, then 3 to 5 years, say, people tell you, well, you're an overnight success, and you just laugh at them.
Yeah. Yeah, I tease everyone, and I say, we're trying, if a door doesn't open, kick it in, go through the window, climb through the roof, whatever you got to do to make it happen. And, my long-term goal is that in 3 to 4 years, I want to be the number 3, 4 camo in the world. I don't expect to ever bump the 2 big guys off the top, but I'd be happy with 3 or 4, and that's my goal. And so you have to have goals. You have to set parameters. You have to just absolutely break your neck to go after it. And if you're not that serious, don't go into business for yourself, is what I would tell anyone.
Well said.
Definitely.
One of your secrets, is your European connection that's already established. I mean, in my mind, that's pretty smart, because there's a lot of people outside of the United States and Canada that hunt and fish. I mean, there's really a lot of people.
Oh, it blew my mind that statistically, and I don't have the exact numbers, so I'm not going to quote numbers, but per capita, there are more hunters in France alone, waterfowl hunters, than all of the United States hunters combined. European countries comprise so much larger a percentage of hunters than we in the U.S. I guess we're in our bubble, and we think we're the only ones that hunt. There is another world out there, and they have so many hunters. It's unreal. You go to Germany, to Nuremberg in March, and you go walk the EWA show, and it will blow your mind, the number of hunters that are out there. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I have a friend, Muzzle Force One, and he has one client, distributor, licensee. I don't exactly know, but he's in Europe, and that guy sells double what he sells. He sells double in Europe than what he sells here. Same product. It's just,
it's a very unique market. They handle it in a different way. They're very, very big on. I really love it. They're really big on the heritage of why you hunt. They take it very seriously. They're very respectful of the animals. It's a tradition, and they have certain standards, and they just keep it at such a high standard. And so for a camouflage pattern to penetrate the, staunch, dress, khakis and just vests and the whole look that they have over in Europe, to be able to get into that lifestyle and that heritage and be accepted is huge. It's such a huge accomplishment. It's probably my most prized accomplishment, so far with this, with what I'm doing, is that, they have embraced it, and we'll have some real big news coming at EWA, stuff I can't say out loud, but in March, it's going to be a big, big unveiling.
And that's in Nuremberg, correct?
That's correct.
So listen up, and we'll get Stacie back when she can make the announcement. We'll have a Facebook Live or something. We'll give you some exposure to my friends across North America. That's for sure.
That'd be awesome.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming. We've got a lot coming. Wyndham Weaponry has gotten on board. Frog Togs, Burris Optics. We have, oh gosh, I'm trying to not miss anybody. We have, we're talking to Taurus right now. We've got, I need my list. AES Optics, Pugs, Eyewear. We have, Styx River doing mud, if you want stencils for your duck boats, they're doing that. We've got, Skyline USA that does guard dog security, taser flashlights, and bulletproof backpacks. We've got some fun stuff out there right now. Kimlor Bedding with the throws at Academy that are just awesome. A lot of different companies coming on board. We have some huge meetings scheduled for SHOT Show, and if half of them pan out, it'll be just phenomenal for 2018. Just a lot of really good stuff coming. So
one thing you said, it takes a couple of years. When do you expect to be cash flow positive? If you want to say it, if you don't, I'm good with that too.
Hopefully this year. My goal is this year.
Okay.
I've got, I try to run a tight ship, a small ship. I've got a director of licensing and a director of marketing, and beyond that, the rest is my nut. I have to. It's us three trying to take on the world, and I've got a lot of pro staff. I've got 1,300 pro staff that are very good about helping me, field test the garments and the camouflage and giving me feedback. And I've got my pro guys and TV shows, but I run a tight ship, and it's my goal to really turn it. I've got the momentum going now, the ball's rolling, and I just want to push it on up over the other side of the hill and watch it take off. At this point, and I think this year is going to be a pinnacle year for that.
Yeah, Malcolm Caldwell talks about the tipping point. I don't know if you've ever read his book, but
I've heard about it. I haven't read it.
It'd be a good book for you to read because you're right there.
I can feel like I'm on that teetering on that top like this, and I just gotta kick it over. Which I'm all good with kicking it over.
Oh heck yeah! So okay, 1,300 people on your pro staff. Though they buy product from you, or how does all that work?
What I do is I give them a discount, a very deep discount, and they purchase product from me. And then I also, I have some of my affiliated licensees like Frog Togs and Ingle Coolers that will partner up and give them a discount as well. And so it's just encouraging them to, hey, if you take this out in the field and try it and see what you think. Now, of course, my TV guys and my fishing pros, I give them all their stuff and say, hey, run with it. And it's done really well. I've got, if you see all the images on Facebook and social media and on our website, that's pictures from in the field, not doctored. That is straight from the source, all over the country, all over the world. I mean, I think we have every single state covered now, Canada. We even have a guy in Hawaii, a couple of military guys hunting in it. So we've pretty much tried the pattern everywhere and have been extremely excited and pleased. Now I've got people in Germany, Denmark, Russia, Switzerland, all over the place that have gotten, camo from us. Either I've sent it to them, said, here, go test it, tell me what you think, or they've purchased it in Australia. And so far, the consensus has been that it really, really is effective. I had some of our guys saying that they were in Texas filming and were able to get within 10 feet of some whitetail deer on the ground. which just blows my mind that they were able to get that close. So much so that they were able to kill, on one hunt, they were able to kill a red stag with an air gun wearing my camo on the ground. So, that just makes me proud when I hear that. It's kind of like when your kids do something, accomplish something, you're like, yay, it worked. All my hard efforts paying off as far as seeing it perform like it should.
Hey, we're at the segment of the show. I'm just going to ask you, what was the last piece of gear that you bought, and why'd you buy it?
Well, the last piece of gear that I bought since I started the Camo company is my backpack. Hold on, I'll show it to y'all. This is my little mid-sized pack by World Famous Sports in Sandstorm. Just loved this thing. Drug it all over the mountainside in Colorado elk hunting this year. Loved it. It was the perfect size to hold just enough of what I needed. My other big splurge, and it's not got camo on it, is I'm getting a custom scope built by Burris Optics for my new 300 Win Mag that Burris Optics is building the scope, and Carbon Tech Arms down in Miami, Florida is building me a custom fluted barrel.
Oh my goodness, girl.
The whole 9 yards. Composite stock. I think the whole gun's going to weigh less than 4 pounds. Special 300 Win Mag for me to go elk hunting with. So I'm excited about that one.
Now, I live in Colorado. I don't know if you knew that. That's where I live.
Yeah, I knew you did. I knew you did.
So where do you hunt?
We go over to Mesa. We go over to the Grand Mesa, to Mesa, Colorado. I hunt with Jeff Miner. He runs Coag's Guide School. Awesome. I've hunted with Jeff for 7 years. Love him to death. It's rugged hunting. It is not your walk in the park. They're going to run past you. You don't ever know what you're going to get into or how far you're going to have to go to get into it. We hunt hundreds of thousands of acres of public land, and so we're not going high fence. We're not going in the cushy areas. We're hoofing it. At one point this year, I actually think I sat down on the side of the mountain and wanted to cry because it was just so intense. We had to go over 2 rock slides, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to cross over the rock slide." And I thought, "You're crazy! I'm carrying a high-powered rifle." This was not little rocks. This was giant boulders, and I thought, I am going to fall through the cracks. I survived, though, and I was better for the wear after, but boy, during it was rough. And Jeff just sat and laughed on the mountain with me because he knew I was about fit to be tied on that one. But awesome operation out there. And one of the beautiful things about, we're partnered officially with him. He runs a program where if you are a veteran military guy and you've got your GI Bill and you come back and you just don't really want to go to college, but you love the outdoors, he has a guide school that will certify you for fly fishing, hunting any species, the whole 9 yards, camp setting up, and they get to use their GI Bill to pay for it. So it's just an awesome thing. And that's one thing, besides sponsoring and helping kids, the other big passion that we have at PRYM1 is supporting our military. I mean, that is not even a question. My military guys that call me, I will bend over backwards for them. We have several Bog Outdoors that we sponsor, Team Halo, the Hookstead Brothers. These organizations take, wounded veterans out to hunt and fish and just really are active. We do a lot with Wounded Warriors. We're big into that, supporting our veterans, supporting our military, and supporting our kids, even so much so that we now have officially got a PRYM1 shooting team. They're going to be competing in one of the major circuits, military. They're going to be doing long-range shooting, gas-operated, bolt action, and one other category. And one of my dear friends, retired sergeant major, got a 3-man team. We also have a couple of shotgun shooting guys. So, we're really trying to give back and support in lots of different directions besides just us getting out and doing the activities.
Let's switch it up and let's talk about hunting. I'd love to hear more about your Colorado hunt. Let's talk about whitetail, and that'll take up the last 20 or 30 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, we were really we huffed it for 5 days looking for the elk. I didn't get a mule deer tag this year. Wanted to go strictly after the elk, and it seemed like every corner we turned, we saw mule deer, which, typical, par for the course. When you're not looking and you don't have the tag for that animal, that's the one you're going to see the most. We did see a lot of cow elk. We didn't have any bulls come up on us. And I had gone out to the range. I was well prepared with my 300 Win Mag. I hit the gong at 420 yards, and I hit it at 600 yards. So I was not afraid to pull the trigger, no matter 1,000 yards out. I'd have tried him. But he didn't show up. He didn't participate. So it was okay. We had a beautiful hunt. Saw some bears, saw some moose. Just an awesome, awesome, beautiful area. Rugged country.
Let's talk about, just prepping for Colorado or Rocky Mountain, any place from Canada all the way down to through New Mexico. What are a couple of things you would say, hey, if you're going to do this, you need to know these 3 to 5 things?
You better be able to do a lot of walking and climbing. It will test you. And I tell you what, I've been so busy with the business that I was not up to par this year, but I survived it. It's very rigorous, a very rigorous hunting. If you're used to sitting in a ground blind, you're going to have a hard time unless you really go after it. You have to pack light. You have to be able to carry water. That's key. You must carry at least a liter of water for you every day that you're out there. That pack that I showed, that's essential. I had flashlight, knife, water bottle, my puffy down jacket that you ball it up. The one we have, it packs into the pocket. You shove it in your backpack. You do not wear it walking in because you will be sweating. You put it on after because it's going to get cold as you go up that mountain. I have a 3-layer soft shell jacket and pants that World Fan Sports makes that's just phenomenal. It actually comes off the ski slopes from the ski factories. It's got a little bit of it's a waterproofing, but it's got a little bit of a harder surface on the outside, so it's not super, super quiet, but when you're stalking, it really doesn't matter. It can tear through scrub oak like nobody's business. Just to give you an example, I had bruises on my leg from branches slapping me and everything else, trying to crawl through all this scrub oak up the side of the mountain. Never once had a hole in my pants at all. I mean, it's just the toughest stuff ever. That and gloves. You better have gloves. Because as you know, those scrub oak are some mean little bushes, and they're not that small. They look small when you're sitting up on the top of that mountain, but when you get down in them, it's a whole nother world. You feel like you're on a foreign planet.
It's a jungle, that's for sure.
We did a video plowing through it just to show how tough it is to, and you better have a good sling because there's no such thing as just carrying your gun in your hand. You got to have that thing slung. And that was part of the reason why I'm getting a lighter gun also, because you better pack light because whatever you carry, your butt carries in, you just got to carry out. And it's a whole lot harder on the way back than it is going in. So.
How about techniques? How about, you mentioned stalking. I don't know if you mentioned ground blinds. What did you guys do? Just spot and stalk?
When we do elk hunting, we spot and stalk. We're hunting miles and miles of public land. We'll walk, at minimum 6 to 15 miles a day. You might be going all day. You never know. You know how it is. They're so fast. I mean, they can cover so much ground. And by the time you see them and you're trying to get from point A to point B and you're going down the mountainside, they can be 10 miles away from you before you shake a stick. So, you have to know where people are. My guide is awesome about knowing where they've been seen, kind of what they're doing, where they're trending. And so we go after them. We're not hunting private land where you've got the luxury of just sitting in a ground blind like whitetail hunting. I mean, of course, we always do that in whitetail hunting, but for big game hunting out west, we stalk. We absolutely stalk.
Nice segue on the whitetail. So let's give the listeners some of your tips or techniques about whitetail hunting.
Whitetail hunting, I always joke with my boys, because they're just so gung-ho about it. When it's the beginning of the season, before that, and I'm not an archery hunter. I rather sling lead. That's just me. Kudos to all you whitetail archery hunters. I believe in you better try to get them in the beginning of the season before that first shot's cracked off. Hit the woods hard. I don't do a lot of calling. I don't believe in our area. It's very effective. I think the biggest key that most people don't emphasize in whitetail hunting is that if you are serious about managing a herd and you're in an area where you can somewhat do that, you have got to maintain your doe population. There is no worse foe in your hunting season than having too many does on the ground. I think it's a 2-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio max. We had 3 years back, we had so many does. We leased this one chunk of land close to the house, and there were too many does. Between the acorns on the ground and the readily available supplies of water in Tennessee, those deer, all they had to do was get up, eat. I mean, they didn't have to go anywhere. And so, beginning of the season, you better be in the woods, and you better have, when it gets going, you better take some does out. They eat great. We eat probably 10 a year. That's going to help your buck population because they're going to have to get up and move and go after the does. When it comes time to, late season, once those shots have been fired off on them, we all know the big ones go dark. They come out at night, and your only chance then is when they're running a doe. My husband shot a good one this year, and he had his head down, and he was just dogging her, and he whistled and made all kinds of racket to get him to stop. That deer never checked up. He kept on, and he just had to pick a spot between the tree limbs and wait for his head to pop in that spot to get him, because they have one thing on their mind at that point. And right now the season's just winding down here. I think last weekend it closed. I didn't go last weekend. It was real tough. We had a lot of rain. They were coming out in the does were coming out in the fields, but the bucks were just hanging back till late at night. I'm big on food plots. You cannot discredit feeding year round, having mineral salt licks, having food plots, they're going to go find food. So if you don't have it on your spot, they're going to go find it somewhere else. And to keep them on your spot, you better have it. So I think it's a lot of preparation that's the determining factor in when we lived in Mississippi, we had a place for 10 years that we just really trophy managed, and we had to sell it because we moved too far away. But man, we had it. It was some jam uppers coming out of it now, and we're friends with the people that bought it, and it's just incredible to see the effort does pay off. It really does.
We're timing the show that you can close however you want to. If you want to give shout outs for your company, have at it, and then we'll call it a show.
I would say be on the lookout for us. If you go to Academy Sports right now, or you go online, we've got our awesome throw blankets that are super. They got the Sherpa on one side and the Camo on the other side. They're actually 50% off, so it's a great buy right now, $14.99 through Academy Sports. Those are by Kimlor Bedding. We've got our Taser flashlights that are in the stores right now in Academy that are phenomenal. For all you kayakers, be on the lookout for the kayak paddles in 4 of the different PRYM patterns in Dick's Sporting Goods. If you're near a Dunham's has been known to carry our backpacks. We don't have one around here, so I can't check it. Bob Ward's has always carried stuff. I'm not sure where all the new apparel is going to land. Mojo Sportswear, be on the lookout if you're on the fishing side of the equation. We've got a bunch of really cool fishing shirts coming out with my artwork on it. I've got one that's got a sea turtle that's going to be really cool for the summertime. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. We've got several guys that if you want to wrap your truck or your boat or anything like that, I've got guys that do the wrapping. I've got guys that do the hydrographic dipping of your guns, all that kind of stuff. So, shoot me an email, go to our website. I'm happy to answer any questions, and be on the lookout for us in the stores and on TV.
What is your email address, please?
My email, you can go PRYM1Camo@gmail.com.
And the website?
The website is www.prym1camo.com.
Stacie, it's been a joy to listen to you, a lady that's driven, and that's one thing. The whole thing came out is, you're gonna, go through the door, go through the roof, the window. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get her done.
Hey, you never take a no for an answer unless they just emphatically tell you no. No's not now. So, hey.
Well, on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America, we all wish you well and can't wait to see what's coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
We're going to have a young man from Colorado who now is a nurse out in Nebraska. And Taylor Prinzler is his name. And Taylor heralds from a family that started him hunting when he was 5 or 6 years old. And all his first game was taken right from the home ranch. And that's pretty special to him because it gave him the tradition of hunting that he couldn't get anyplace else, because he'd wake up some frosty morning and it'd be 400 or 500 head of elk in the back pasture. So with tradition like that, he's been able to hunt a lot of different places, and he looks forward to his next adventure. Taylor's got some great stories, great lessons learned. So enjoy the show, folks.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.